Okay, I hope all is well out there. This is Mr. Mac, Algebra 2, Lesson 21.4. Take a moment and copy down all these goodies that I got up here. This is going to be signs of trig functions per quadrant, okay? Make sure you get the cosine of theta is x, the sine of theta is y, and your new one now, the tangent of theta is going to be y over x, which is sine of theta over cosine of theta. There's your good old chart. I bolded it this time. Hopefully you'll be able to definitely see it. You want to memorize those certain radicals, what their decimal equivalents are. And then, of course, don't forget, it's cosine of theta, sine of theta. Okay, but let's go to good news first. You know, anytime you're learning something new, you want to go back to when life was easy. So the first thing I want to focus on is, yeah, we're doing this unit circle, okay, but we're still on regular graph paper or coordinate paper, okay? So this x right here, all right, you know that, that's the x-axis, okay? The only thing new is now we're calling cosine of theta x, okay? And then you know the vertical axis is the y-axis, right? All right, and now we're calling that sine of theta. Okay, so let's start with what you know, what's simple. You know who the x-axis is, you know who the y-axis is. All right, so now we're still doing graph paper, right? Remember, this is quadrant 1 because all of the signs in this quadrant, not on the x-axis, not on the y-axis, but hanging out in here, remember, is positive, positive. Okay? Today's questions are going to be this simple. Okay? I'm going to say, hey, what's the sign of cosine of theta if it lands in quadrant 1? Well, since cosine of theta is x, and you're in quadrant 1, and you know all x's are positive, then guess what? All the cosines of theta are going to be positive in quadrant 1. Same goes for sine of theta, because remember the x and the y, all those cosine theta, sine thetas are all positive in quadrant 1. Then we're going to move over here, quadrant 2. Again, let's just stick with what we know. You guys know this is 0, 0. If you go left, that's going to be negative. Okay? If you go north, that's going to be positive. All right? So all of your ordered pairs in quadrant 2 are going to be negative, positive. Okay? So if I say, hey, what's the sign of cosine of theta if that angle lands in quadrant 2? Okay? If it lands in quadrant 2, all the cosines of theta are going to be negative. Okay? All right, now let's go down to quadrant 3. Okay? Here's quadrant 3. What do you know about quadrant 3? Here's 0, 0. You're going left is negative. You're going down is negative. So all those babies in here are negative, negative. All right? Talk to me. Yeah. All right. So if I say, hey, what's the sign? What's the sign of sine? That's horrible. If sine of your angle, sine of theta, lands in quadrant 3, the sine of it will be negative. If the angle lands in quadrant 3, the cosine in quadrant 3 will also be negative. All right, and then we only got one more, okay? Quadrant 4, hanging out over here. All right, look, this is positive, drop down to negative, okay? Positive, negative. In English, if you land over here, all your x's are positive. All your y values are negative. Well, if all of your x values are positive, all your cosine of theta values are positive. If all your y values are negative, all your sine theta values are going to be negative in quadrant 4. Okay? Okay, couple reminders too I want to show you. This is a circle, okay? We're calling it the unit circle. Look, the radius is 1. If you notice, the largest answer you're going to get is 1. The smallest answer you're going to get is negative 1. So that's why if you look at this chart's so important, okay? You know, you can also have positive and negative values depending where you are on the circle, but look, you're never going to go over $1. Look, that's 87 cents. The square root of 3 over 2 equivalent, okay, is 87 cents. The equivalent to the square root of 2 over 2 is 71 cents. 1/2 is 50 cents. 0 is not, you know, positive or negative, it's neutral. All right, and then look, here's your highest value of 1. So So your values are not going to go past 1, and that's because your radius here. All right, all your radiuses are going to be 1. Okay, so let's review and make sure that we're straight, and then we'll just do one set of problems. The cosine of theta is x. The sine of theta is y. All right, what I love about it, alphabetical order, and just start writing it cosine theta, sine theta every time. Then the only new one up here is the tangent of theta is going to be sine theta over cosine of theta, so that's going to be the ratio of y over x. Don't let that bother you. You're just going to write y over x, all right, and we're going to focus on these 3 trig functions, okay? Talk to me. Okay, I'm going to switch, and you have this written down. Hopefully, I gave you time to write that down, and then we're just going to try a few problems just to see if you are awake. All right, hopefully you guys are with me. All right, you probably heard that over there. That's my Roomba going nuts in the rest of the house. Did you guys hear that loud sound? Who knows? It probably the Roomba might have got a hold of one of the dogs. Hopefully not. Okay, so for our work, we're on page 10. Okay, and I will definitely zoom in where you can see this. Don't worry. Okay, so here we go. All right, we're going to focus on this question right here. Which trig functions are positive? I want to make this as large as I can and as least confusing as possible. I think I need to go to school on getting this right quicker. You know what I'm saying? It just takes me forever. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm happy with it. All right, I'm gonna move this baby up here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and erase this real quick and erase this. Okay, you took notes on that screen real quick. Let's go ahead and kind of redo those notes real fast. Cosine of theta, comma, sine of theta, positive, positive, okay, negative, positive, negative, negative, and then finally positive, negative. Okay, so make sure you get that down. This is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. All right, we're still doing graph paper. Hey, you gotta love that math does that. All right, you're still doing the same stuff that you learned in Algebra 1. Okay, so here we go. Let's see if you know what I was talking about in the notes. The question is, which trig functions are positive? All right, if I'm in quadrant 1, okay, if I'm in quadrant 1, look over here. Quadrant 1 is positive, positive, positive x, positive y, so both cosine of theta and sine of theta. Okay, and do you guys remember what tangent of theta was? Tangent of theta was sine of theta over cosine of theta. And you know a positive divided by a positive is still going to be a positive, so also tangent of theta. So for this first question, quadrant 1, all 3 of them are. Okay, again, the question is, which trig functions are positive, all right, in quadrant 1. Okay, quadrant 2, which trig functions are positive? If I'm in quadrant 2, I'm hanging out here. Okay, look, negative, comma, positive. The second one is y, so this is sine of theta. Yes, very good. Whoever yelled that out. You cannot put tangent down because tangent, look, is going to be a positive divided by a negative, so that's just going to be negative. Okay, very good. All right, go to quadrant 3. Which trig functions are positive? Well, when you go to quadrant 3, they're both negative, so just put none. Okay, and finally, wait. No. I lied to you. No, I'm an absolute liar. Thank you for catching that. All right, when you're in quadrant 3, you're right. Cosine is negative, sine is negative, but if you go negative divided by a negative, tangent. Silly Mr. Mac. Thank you for catching that. And then finally, quadrant 4, who is positive? Well, look, the first one's positive, the second one's negative, the first one's cosine. You're going to put cosine of theta. All right, you can't put tangent because that would be negative divided by positive. All right, so your tangents are only positive in quadrant 1 when the signs are the same, and in quadrant 3 when your signs are the same. Okay, take a moment. I can only imagine what you're probably thinking at this moment. So anyway, take a moment. It is good to see you again, and hopefully I get to see you again for real, in person. And this is worksheet 10. Talk to y'all later.